Hi, this is Sue Quackenbush, Chief People Officer at Dynatrace. And today I am very excited with my guest, Kosai Estowani. He is our Senior Product Marketing Manager based in our Waltham office, and he has a fantastic story. So welcome, Kosai.
Thank you so much for having me, Sue.
So I would love to start with your role because when I was preparing for this conversation, I was like, hey, wait a minute, you have a new job. And I knew last time you were in sales operations and now you're in product marketing. I'd love to hear about your new role. What is it and how is it different?
Sure. Yeah, this role is it's new. I'm part of the competitive intelligence team, and as we know, that competition drives innovation. Our competitors are constantly innovating, and so are we. And we need to be able to understand what they're doing, how they're doing it, and they do the same thing. I've seen a bunch of competitors hire for very similar roles, and what we've been able to do is kind of use things like bettering the operations, providing sales with support as well as data, something we didn't really do as much of before. So that's kind of my job right now is optimizing our CRM and making sure sales has all the tools that they need, as well as providing data so we can actually create action.
And I love the new role. I think it's awesome. Competitive intelligence is so critical for any organization just to make sure that we're aware of what's going on in the market. So I think that's great. Switching from sales operations to product marketing, what guided those changes? I mean, these are changes in kind of a career path. So what really fuels that change?
I realized, like, you know what, I need a little bit more of set of skills, and this is exactly what this gave me. My manager right now was very open to always mentoring me, coaching me, and he really made me like, you know what, this is a really good role for me, is where I can get creative. I always like challenges when things are new because you get to kind of make it your own.
That's awesome. And what I heard a little bit about your personal story was that you moved to the US at a very early age and couldn't speak any English. And how's that shaped your whole view on personal growth and professional growth?
So coming here, language was kind of just one of the barriers. So I came here at 11 years old. A quick funny story. I remember the principal asked me and my brother, "Do you want French or Spanish?" And I thought he said spinach, and I recognized that word. So I told my brother, I'm like, I think he's asking us what we want for lunch. You go with the French, I'll go with the Spanish. And it turns out that they put us in these classes. I'm like, we don't even speak English. And then he stuck with it. I bailed out. But that was really kind of like one of the first roadblocks. I'm like, if you can overcome roadblocks like culture and language, everything else really becomes easy. And honestly, the reason I'm even here right now is because those two teachers changed my life. They made me feel welcome. They held my hand. They taught me. I still have my notebook when I first started writing English. The first few days, I still have that to this day. And that went on to high school and middle school, and then friends, and then bosses and leaders and managers. The only reason I'm here is because people took a chance on me. They gave me the opportunity and they supported me. Whenever I struggled, they supported me. And so I can't really take the credit for everything because I've had a lot of help along the way.
Well, I think that's an amazing story, but I would say you were open to taking that help and you accepted the help. I'd love to get your thoughts on what advice would you give someone who's coming into relocating into not only joining a new company, so you're joining a new company, you're starting a new role, but you're also potentially relocating to a new country. What advice would you give them?
Uh, Being open is number one. I mean, I'm assuming the fact that you're willing to move to a different country, you're open. But what I mean by that is understanding that the world doesn't revolve around you. You have to understand that local language. You have to put in that effort. I'm all for that. You can't move into a country and expect them to speak the language that you speak natively. Um, just being open to criticism, being open to listening and learning, and making peace with the fact that this is going to be a long process. This is not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be easy, but in the long run, it's worth it.
One of the things we often talk about is how do you bring your whole self to work? And I would wonder, what parts of your journey do you carry into the way you show up and collaborate?
I would say I've learned, I used to have a different way of working or thinking how I should be a leader. And it was, oh, I'm like, oh, I have to rule with an iron fist. I have to be this, tough person. And I realized that that was never the right way because number one, I got backlash. And number two, when I saw the people who were kind to me, why the hell didn't I just do what they do? So that's one thing try to carry with myself every day is like, if I'm growing, I'm going to try to help as many people around me grow. So that's kind of like the reoccurring theme is always give back. And when you keep giving back, you're going to learn more. You're going to learn how to deal with people better. You learn how, and then it gives you room, I guess, when you involve more people to grow and focus on other things.
I mean, you've been at Dynatrace for 6 years. What is it about the company or culture that keeps you here?
It's always been the managers. So it's very tempting when you see a competitor reach out or a different company reach out and say, hey, you fit our skill set. Were you interested? One thing I always give advice on, whether you're in my level and career wise or below me or above me, I shop for the manager first, company and role second. Because if you have a bad manager, it doesn't matter how much you're getting paid or how cool the company is, it's going to be a miserable experience.
And, I totally agree with you. I mean, research says, and you hear that people leave bad managers. And, when we think about Dynatrace and our culture, and you think about our leadership, and, we just did our engagement survey earlier this year, and our employees truly trust their managers. They really have a high regard for their managers. And so I'm going to switch subject and kind of go back to, you founded Dynaspace for people of color, and you've served as their president since then. What sparked the idea, and how did it come to life?
The inspiration came definitely from somebody who mentored me when I was at RSA and showed that this group is a supportive group. This is not to kind of do anything else but be there for each other, support each other. And then we found there was a lot of people who were really interested in that. A lot of people who feel like maybe they're outnumbered or they feel like they're an outcast or scared because of certain world events that are happening. And if I was feeling like this, you can multiply that maybe by 10, 5, whatever it is. That many people are probably feeling the same exact way.
So I know you're working on a project that focuses on informing kids and young people from underserved communities about careers in tech. Can you tell me more about it?
Sure. So this is something I've talked about and pitched for the last 3 years, just kind of like talking out loud. And I called it Dynatrace Fit, which is Future in Tech. And the goal of it is to reach out to disadvantaged communities and inform them what their options are in software companies or in tech. Because when people think, or at least this is what I used to think, oh, in tech, you have to be able to code, you have to be able to develop software. That's not the case. There you go. I'm a person with a criminal justice degree. But then I'm like, oh, you can get sales? That's how I started initially. I started recruiting. I was a tech recruiter. And I just want these kids to be able to know their options. We can provide them mentorship, job shadow days. One of the things I would love to do is have maybe, again, select few, be able to come to Dynatrace offices and see what it looks like and inspire them to go into those roles.
It sounds like a wonderful opportunity, and it's about awareness. I mean, I grew up on a small family farm. I was the first kid to go to college. I had no idea what the corporate world looked like or felt like, or even how you even were able to get into it from where I came from. And, through a co-op in college, that's how I actually had that exposure point. So, it has been wonderful speaking with you. I love your story. I love the journey. I love the idea of the program, the future in tech. And so I just want to say thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate this.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's podcast. If you'd like to follow us, please do so on Apple and Spotify.